Let's get serious about screen time. Technology has become more and more essential for people's daily routines. Therefore, it is easy to overlook how much time of the day we let it consume us. On another level, it is easy for parents to overlook how much screen time their children average daily. Between school and home, it is rather hard to keep track of. I mean, think of an average parent's day with a younger child. When they get ready in the morning or the child is eating breakfast, the TV could be on. In the car on the way to drop off the child at daycare or school, the radio is on, which can contain a plethora of media that the kid is indulging in. Some parents let their child watch a movie, YouTube, or play games on a device, which all contain, for the most part, ads that the child indulges in as well. If you look at the chart, it shows the screen time versus the actual average use in the US in 2020. The recommendation for children under 2 is 0 hours, and the actual average hours of screen time used throughout the day was 42 minutes. If we also look at the screen time recommendations for kids 2 to 4, it is about an hour a day, when in reality, the average screen time daily for the age group is 2 hours and 39 minutes. That is more than double the recommended time. Too much screen time has negative effects on the children. For example, too much screen time increases risks of becoming overweight, sleep deprived, less school ready, social skills, initiative, aggressive, and less able to self-soothe.
Do parents really have control over screen time? There are a lot of apps that parents can use to supervise screen time with. There is Bark, ClickTime, Big Time, Ring, and many more. These apps allow the parent to control how much their kids are spending on their phones, either with video games or social media. While not many parents know about these apps, it could also help decrease the screen time for their kids and possibly obesity, because if you are watching TV or a movie or just on your phone, it is a normal thing to eat while being entertained. And most snacks that kids crave are high in sugars, and same with drinks.
For this project, Abby and I watched several movies and TV shows and recorded the advertisements that were broadcasted. We looked into Hulu, Netflix, and YouTube. We found out that Netflix doesn't broadcast any commercials. Hulu sometimes does, and YouTube has most consistent advertisements. Hulu did have commercials, but they were sporadically more spread out than YouTube, and rather than the full video commercials, they were typically flashy banners that had an easy access button to said websites. Even on gaming apps, there are flashy banners and advertisements that make it easy for kids to end up on a completely irrelevant website to their game that they were playing. Abby and I found 3 main TV shows and videos that consisted of the most interesting ads to record: The Wiggles, Cocomelon, and the Bear Sensory. These were all found on YouTube.
The advertisements that we found in these shows were Best Buy, Amazon, Harley Davidson, Barbie toy, PJ Masks toys, Gabby's dollhouse toy, and Martin's purse.
Is the media giving the wrong expectations? Every family is different, and with each family comes different expectations on how to solve several situations, like bullying. Some families don't want their child to get involved if they don't have to, while others are more encouraged to intervene even if it isn't their place. By airing commercials that talk about bullying situations, for example, a social expectation is set for the kids and how they should be reacting. Commercials can air multiple times on a vast variety of channels, so who's to say that the kids watching aren't going to be more inclined to do something the commercial is promoting that they hear all the time, instead of taking into consideration what their parents are encouraging them to do. This also goes back to with toys and commercials. The commercials are specifically targeted toward younger kids, and once they see kids their age playing with the newest Barbie or the newest Lego set, they're more inclined to ask their parents for it. Everything is about fitting in when you're younger and being cool, especially when your brain is developing. Younger kids are more easily influenced and persuaded to do things or like certain things than older kids and teens who are more developed than they are.
Relationships between screen media and child obesity. This has become a bigger problem in today's society compared to back then. So with this, I saw that there is a bigger punishment that is being used today rather than back then. Instead of toys being taken away or dolls and stuff like that, it is more that their technology is being taken away and given as a reward. I believe it also doesn't help with the fact that more schooling is going online rather than being in person. Yes, I understand since the whole pandemic, they needed to do something, but that definitely won't help with the increasing obesity in young kids. Also, there are a lot of food commercials coming out, and while staying inside and watching TV all day does sound fun, the commercials could make you hungry. So you could go out probably to McDonald's or Burger King or any of your fast food restaurants, because that's the advertisement that you just saw on the TV. Get yourself a burger with some fries and a drink, and you might also want to treat yourself to some dessert, so why not get a shake too? Bringing back, and then bring that all back home and sit down and watch more TV, and the cycle just continues. Since the schools encourage kids to use their electronics and use them as a reward, uh, it gives the kids more time to sit down and eat rather than go outside and do some physical activity and things like that.
All right, so we looked at media in the past versus the present. So for our past, me and Abby, we looked at two different Monopoly commercials that we saw. One was in the early 2000s, and then the present one was, in the last couple of years. All right, and then here's the more present one.
You can't always get what you want, but with Monopoly Super Electronic Banking Game, it's easy. The banking unit tracks all purchases. You can earn unique rewards with your very own banking card. Own it all with Monopoly Super Electronic Banking Game from Hasbro Gaming. Batteries not included.
All right, so the past commercial had less electronics, more in-game and toys, so they were writing down the scores instead of using an electronic to record things, and they were spending more time with family and friends. They put the phones in the bin and put them away to make sure that they were having more face-to-face interactions. And then in the more recent commercial, they were encouraging electronics, and they were recording the amount of money that they had, like the credit card, and they were more focused on the screen than what they actually had in person.